positive x-axis. So they all come up this way. This is quadrant 1, and that size of angle, I hate to say this, these sizes, the acute angle, is it like that? Angles are called reference angles. They're not always in quadrant 1. They're just that size of quadrant 1. Okay, and so we're going to do a specific one. I'm going to pick 60 this time. So I'm measuring from here. I'm going like that. That's 60 degrees in there. Sometimes it's written out here, 60 degrees. Just right out here. We don't write it inside there because it gets pretty gummy in there. And then I have to figure out the point on the unit circle that corresponds to 60 degrees as this central angle here. And we're just going to quickly remember that that's cos theta sine theta every time, cos theta sine theta. And so I would have to remember what the cosine of 60 is. Okay, so we were tasked with rememorizing that off that chart, but I'll tell you right now, in case somebody doesn't know, does somebody know what the cosine of 60 is? It's a half. Thank you, whoever said that. And then the sine of 60 is, you know, the other one, that one. Okay? All right. And then we're cruising around, and we're going to use the symmetry of the unit circle. Remember, the unit circle has a radius of 1. We're going to use the symmetry of the unit circle to just hop right over to the second quadrant, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, to the second quadrant. And then we're going to draw the terminus of an angle. The terminus means where the angle ends. And so I'll just draw that in with something that's not that pencil. It has to start from the positive x-axis and go over. So now I'm looking at that green angle, and I know that this angle in here is actually that angle from the first quadrant. It's my reference angle. And what is that now? It's still 60 degrees there. It's the same as that angle. So that's what I mean. It's a reference angle. I'm going to stop for a second. What? I had a fancy way of figuring out the green because I know this is 180 degrees over there. So I had a fancy way of figuring out the green by taking 60 from 180 and getting the size of that green angle. And that is going to be 120. Is that right? And I might write it up here just because I don't have a lot of room there. So I can write it right on the terminus or right at the where that point is, and that's fine. I don't need to write it on the green thing. And then I can write these angles here. Oh, I'm sorry. The sine and cosine of the angle. And here's how I do that. I look at this and I say, okay, I definitely went the same amount up. So which one stays the same? The y one, right? The sine one. So I know that's the same. I can get that because I know they both went up the same amount. Yeah, it's negative a half. Thank you, Lana. It's negative a half because I went over this way the same distance as I went over that way, right? Okay, I've got those. I'm just moving along like a crazy person. I'm going to go straight down here because I want to get to the next thing. I'm going to go straight down there, and that's going to be my next terminus, or I could have gone straight that way, whatever. It's all the same. And I'm going to search for another color. Here I go. And I have to start from the x-axis, and I go all the way over to the terminus. And now my reference angle is the angle that's made with the terminus and the x-axis. It's right there. Is that right? It's got to be made with the x-axis. And how many is that? 60, thanks. Always 60, that little reference angle. And so sometimes in maths, we write something like, oh, well, first of all, how big is that angle? 240, thanks. Does everybody get 240? 180 plus 60. And sometimes in maths, we write cosine of 240 is the same as the cosine of 60, except it's negative. How do I get that it's negative? Yeah, nice. All, yep, all stations to central or all students take calculus or whatever. They're both negative down here. And you know x and y are both negative down here. You've known that for 100 years. So let's put that in there. I'm using these two same values, but they're both negative. Is it sinking in? And where am I going to do the next one? There. Okay, there it is. And I always am going from the x-axis. How many times did I say that today so far? A lot. I'm never going in here, ever. I'm never thinking about that angle in there. I'm going from the x-axis at 60. This happens to be 360 here, or 0. And so 360 minus 60 is 300 is that angle, 300 degrees. And I'll get one more pretty color. And I'll go all the way around. There's my reference angle right there. It's 60. And so I know this point here, are they both negative again? No. Nice. You okay?